Namaste and welcome. So today we are discussing a very important topic, ideal daily routine. So when I start building the framework for that, don't start comparing it with your life and get distracted. Just listen to everything that I'm saying. As close as you get to this ideal, the better is your lifestyle and better are your lifestyle disorders. There's a huge impact of your daily routine on your heart disease, blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, and triglycerides. From time immemorial, almost 1500 years ago, from our scriptures to the modern science of circadian rhythm now, this has been proven scientifically. If you are moderate, regulated, and disciplined in your lifestyle, and the lifestyle includes how much you eat, how you eat, and what you eat, your diet, your activity, your effort, your enjoyments in life, your vocation, how you sleep, and how you wake up, and how you rest. Everything should be moderated, regulated, and disciplined. And that is called an ideal daily routine. So, first of all, we have given you 14 modules, and we have given you about 130 or 140 practices in that. And you're trying to incorporate that in your lifestyle, and you're struggling, do this, do this, do this. Plus, you have a lifestyle, your own life. Okay. Think of it like this. When a child starts learning music, right? Let's say he's learning to play harmonium, and you press one note, one note, one note here, you go sa re ga ma, and then it all appears like disjointed in the beginning. It's not rhythmic, it's not harmonized, but he keeps doing it over and over and over again and becomes very rhythmic and musical and harmonized. And that's exactly how it is with these practices. You have to make a daily routine and practice that for a long period of time, and then it becomes natural. So if you all look at our lives, they appear very unique and different, but there are some things very common, right? We all do self-care, which includes diet and taking care of our body. Along with that, there are three things that really motivate us to move forward, and I call them three P's. That's your pleasure, your passion, and your purpose. If there's no happiness, joy, and pleasure in life, it becomes mundane and tasteless. So we're all pursuing happiness. We're all pursuing joy in some form or the other. And we have different ways of pursuing it, attaining it, experiencing it. In addition to that, some people learn that pleasure is not the only goal of life, and they follow a passion. A passion could be somebody becomes a surgeon, somebody becomes a musician, somebody becomes an athlete, somebody becomes cricketer. These are all passions. Or somebody does business. These are all passions. Passion brings you remuneration, and passion brings you pleasure, and passion gives you focus in life. Now, for some, pleasure and passion is not the be all and end all of life, and they seek purpose. For some, they say, is this all there is to life? Maybe there is more, and they pursue that. And that's called purpose and meaning of life. So we're all doing all this. Okay, no matter how we do it, we're all doing all this. But we only have 24 hours in a day to do this. Whether you are a tycoon, a $1 trillion, now there are people that have $1 trillion of wealth, right? Or you're a pauper on the street begging. One thing is common between both, and that is they both have only 24 hours of time. So what do you do and how do you regulate those 24 hours? That's called time management. And during those 24 hours, what should be your state of mind? And that is called mind management. So if you manage the time and you manage the mind, the moderation, regulation, discipline that I'm talking about in life comes naturally to you. It doesn't appear contrived. It's effortless. And that is a stage that we need to reach. So let's say begin with time. So if we divide 24 hours into 4 segments, okay, I call it 8-4-8-4. So 8-4-12 and 8-4-12 equals 24. So 8 hours is approximately, we all sleep and then we wake up. And then we have about 4 hours of time before we get to work. And for most of us, 8 hours is a regular working hour. And then we come home and then we have 4 hours before we go to bed. So that is how it becomes 8-4-8-4. Now, it is everybody's experience that 8 hours that you spend in sleep, if this is of the highest quality and you get full 8 hours of sleep, you really wake up very fresh, rejuvenated. You feel great when you wake up. So what is it that makes you feel rejuvenated, fresh, energetic when you wake up from a good sleep? In sleep, 2 things are happening. You have no sense perception. Nothing comes in through your eyes, ears, nose, throat, tongue, and taste. Number 1. Number 2, nothing comes through your mind, no memories and thoughts. So there is no internal input and there is no external output. It's almost like you unplugged the internal output and you unplug the external output. And then when you go to sleep, you wake up fine. So that should give you a clue. And what is the clue? The clue is if you are unplugged, you're fresh and rejuvenated. Unplugged from external stimulations, from the sense perceptions, or unplugged from the internal perceptions of thoughts and memories, right? But then we live in the world and we interact, right? So we have to perceive, we have to speak, we have to listen. And then it comes to the point how you should be listening, what you should be listening determines, again, your freshness, rejuvenation, and joy during the waking hours. So if you're not getting 8 hours of sleep every night or 7 to 8 hours, there is something wrong. So first thing you need to do is you refer to our sleep hygiene. In those 14 protocols, we have given all the methods of sleep hygiene and make sure that you're following that to get good sleep. Okay, so that is the management of the 8 hours of sleeping. And you should have very good sleep. When you have very good sleep, you're fresh, and that helps you improve your lifestyle, your mind, your heart disease, blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, triglycerides, everything. Make sure you have a fixed time to go to bed and a fixed time to wake up. So in the morning when you wake up, before you go to start working, you have approximately 4 hours. If you wake up at 5 in the morning, from 5 to 9, you have 4 hours. You wake up at 6 in the morning, from 6 to 10, and from 10 to 5, you work. Or if you wake up at 3:30, 8:30. So same way, you have at least 4 hours you should give yourself in the morning. So 8 hours of sleep, we talked about that. And now 4 hours is your time in the morning. Just like sleep is nobody's time, right? You are neither connected with yourself during sleep, nor you're connected with the world. This 4 hours in the morning is your self time. This is your time. In this time, you are only connecting with yourself and you're not connecting with anybody at this time. So that's important, okay? So those 4 hours, some of the time you're going to spend in self-care, right? You have to wake up in the morning, brush, clean up, everything. And then you also have to eat breakfast. Some of you have to prepare your own breakfast. So give and take, you could call it 1 to 2 hours. May go into that, okay? 1 hour you should do yoga practice, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. We have that protocol, cardiac yoga protocol that you should follow. Now you're left with about 2 hours, give or take 1.5 to 2 hours. This time that is left, you should divide in 3 parts. One part is sit at a place quietly and do self-analysis. Self-analysis is you're analyzing how you're leading your life, what you're doing, what you did yesterday, what you did that you should not have done, or what it is that you wanted to do and you could not do. And also watch, sit there quietly and watch your own mind. Sit there, let thoughts come to your mind, and just listen to what is coming. Don't analyze it. Don't make it go away. Nothing. A witness is just like some friend of yours that is very sad, has some problem. He comes to you. He really wants you to listen to it. And the problem may be beyond your control to change. But if you just listen to him, right, you understand him, you're compassionate, you give a compassionate hearing, it helps him. So same way you listen to your mind in a compassionate way, not in an aggressive way, not in a critical way, not in a condemning way. Just listen. This gives you the quality of your thoughts in a day. And then slowly, once you begin to listen to your own mind, you will also be able to divide that into how much of that is negative and how much of that content, thought content, is positive. Okay? So this is analysis. In the beginning, you may only do 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, and you may do longer thereafter. But remember, it's not self-criticism. It's not self-condemnation. It's not self-flagellation. You're not punishing yourself. You're just listening to yourself. This should be followed by 20 to 40 minutes of breath focus. You know how we do in every program, breath focus. Normally we do 2 to 3 minutes. Increase that. Just keep your focus on the breath. The mind wanders, it goes away somewhere, bring it back to the breath. A thought distracts you, come back to the breath. So this repeated practice of coming back to the breath, breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out, and that's your only focus. This is a tremendous practice for increasing your focus and concentration. I would say this is the single most important practice for mind management. Now, some of you may have a mantra, so you could do a mantra meditation. Fine. Some of you may have an Ishta. You do Ishta meditation. You meditate on his rupa, you meditate on his qualities, you meditate on his lila, you meditate on his chaitanya, whatever. But if it doesn't have to be denominational, but if you have none of those denominational mantras or meditation practices, just stay focused on breath and begin with 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So that's the second practice in the morning. And the third practice is once you have done the self-analysis and you have done the breath focus, you should do positive thoughts. So positive thoughts is now you've quietened your mind, you've cleaned your mind, and now put in something positive. Now, you could do it in many different ways. You could listen to some beautiful YouTubes from some highly learned people, or you could do a podcast of highly learned people, listen to that. Or you could read some good books, spiritual books, lives of great men, uh, any of those, or scriptures, Gita, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Upanishad, whatever. But it should be something uplifting, positive. Okay. So this is really your morning 4-hour routine. Self-care, breakfast, then 1 hour yoga practice and 3 mind practices of self-analysis, breath focus, and positive self-talk or positive inputs. Okay. This is when you spend the whole day, right? You got tired, exhausted, you went to sleep, right? You rested. This 4 hours is called charging the battery. So this is how, if you begin your day with 1 hour of yoga and self-analysis, mind breath focus, and positive influences, positive self-talk, you have charged up your battery. Why you need that? Because now you're going to work, and that is going to drain your battery. You're going to lose energy during work. And that is why when you come back home after work, you are tired. So if you know that your battery is such that it only lasts about 16 to 18 hours and 8 hours it has to rest, then you have to, charging is very important. So think about morning time as battery charging. During the day, your focus should be, now you're working. So during the day, your focus should be that you use minimum energy in work. It doesn't mean work less. No, people that spend less energy in work, they actually achieve more because most of the energy is lost. And you have to make sure you don't leak energy. So how is it that you leak energy during the day when you work? First of all, if your work is love and serve, what you're doing as a profession is something that you love. It is not something that has been imposed on you. It is not something that you feel is a burden. You do not lose energy. Love never makes you lose energy. And if it's service, if you're serving somebody, and same thing, you may be a clerk in a bank, you may be a businessman, you may be a physician, you may be an engineer. Just keep that attitude at the back of your mind that what I am doing is what I love. I'm doing it as a service, and earning livelihood is part of that, but is a byproduct and it's going to come. It is not the focus of my life. The focus of my life is to love and serve what I'm doing. And during the day, if you also be aware of three things: your speech, your action, and thought. What you're saying and what you're thinking and what you're doing, they should be aligned. So most of the day, if you take your work as loving and serving, and if your speech and action and thought are aligned, you will realize that even after working 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 hours in a day, you don't lose energy. Energy is lost because of friction. It's a principle of physics. Now, I read very little physics, only in 9th, 10th, 11th grade, but I remember from that time. Any mechanical device that has a repetitive purpose, like a wheel, if it's not oiled well, and if there is friction, it loses energy. That's called wasted energy. So if your speech, action, and thought are aligned during the day, and you love what you do, and you do it as a service, then you don't lose energy and you conserve energy. There's less friction. So make sure that you keep that in mind. And do whatever you do. Now you come back home, right? So we spend 8 hours in sleep, 4 hours in morning charging a battery, and 8 hours in working, right? So 8 and 8, 16 and 4, 20 hours is gone. Now you're left with 4 hours. Now you've come back home. Okay. Now again, you feel a little bit tired and drained after full day's work. Now you again spend 4 hours in charging your battery, but now you're going to charge it a little differently. In the morning was charging with self. Now you've come home, now you're charging with the world. You interacted with the world, you wasted some energy with the world, but you have your own world of people around you, your family, your friend, your children, your grandchildren, your loved ones, that actually help you recharge your battery also. So in that, you'll have time for family, you have time for fun, you have time for friends, and time for walk. So again, there are 4 hours. In those 4 hours, you have to eat also, right? Make sure you spend time with the family. The best way to time family is eating together, cooking together. Okay. So if you can't cook, like me, I'm not a very good cook, you can help out afterwards, doing dishes, cleaning. But this is your time that you're spending together, eating together at least, and before and after cleaning up, cooking and cleaning up. It's about, let's say, 1 hour or 1.5 hours. And that's a quality family time that you spend. You must do that. Now, you also need an hour of fun. Okay. So whatever gives you pleasure, some people like musical instrument, listen to music, watch a movie, or those kind of things, read a book. Do that to recharge your battery. If you have children, the best way to recharge really is every family has some children or grandchildren. Play with them. Play with them like they play. And that really charges. I spent about 2 months in the US with my grandson every day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., the most delightful time that I had at that time. They tire you out, but they really clean up your mind and they really give you, the joy is just unsurpassable. Great. Okay. So that is basically a way to recharge. Now, you also have friends that you need to connect with socially. Now, again, in a regulated life, and this is what I do, and you can do that too, when you walk for 1 hour in the evening, which you do, because remember, we recommend 7,500 steps a day. So that requires about 45 minutes to 1 hour of walk in the evening. During that time, you should talk if you have to with friends. So you are, whatever social interaction you have to do with people outside on the phone, you do that during walking. So this is how you spend your evening 4 hours. And then you go to bed again for 8 hours and have good sleep. This routine, if you bring slowly in your life, you'll find out you have tremendous energy throughout the day. You don't waste any energy. Okay. This regulation, again, based on the principles of circadian rhythm, also regulates your bowel function. It regulates your digestion. It regulates your circulation. It regulates your respiration, and it regulates your metabolism. Now, a lot of people who have problem with bloating, indigestion, abdominal pain, acidity, reflux, burping, abdominal pain, constipation, all these gastrointestinal problems are because you're not only eating wrong things, but you're eating it at wrong times and eating it at different times, and changing your amount, quality, quantity of eating throughout the day. See, if you do a job somewhere for 8 hours, you have a job description. This is what you're going to do, and this is the time you're going to do it, right? You have that, and you follow that, and your employer pays your salary for that. How would you feel if every 30 minutes he dumps something else on you, which is not part of the contract? So, oh, by the way, do this also. Oh, by the way, do that also. Okay, that's fine, but for 20 minutes, can you take my car out for servicing, etc., etc.? How would you feel? How would you feel? You will not be able to do your own work. It'll frustrate you. It'll make you angry. Why do you think your liver, your heart, your stomach, your pancreas, your kidneys, your brain, and your lungs should not feel the same way? The stomach knows that at certain times the food comes in, it gives you the acids and the enzymes for digestion, and then it empties, and then it knows that after a certain period of time, you will eat again, and in between, it is time to rest. Now you put something else in there. You eat your lunch, and then you went somewhere, you took a cup of tea. You went somewhere, you took a biscuit. You went somewhere, you took a little fruit. You never gave stomach rest. So its efficiency deteriorates. And that's why you get this reflux and acidity, and then you need this Pento-D and antacids and all that. So moderation, regulation, and discipline. Now, these 8-hour, 24-hour schedule that I've given you, okay, I have kept in mind that I also incorporate the practices that I've given you in the 14 modules. Now, I also agree that it is going to take you time to incorporate that in your life. And I also know that initially it's going to be hit and miss. But with practice, you will achieve it. And once you achieve a stage where these are just automatically harmonized, then you'll see the real benefit of that. And it is also not going to appear as a chore or as a burden. So what I want you to do is, all of you, to finish the 14 modules, sign into the life that you have signed up, be for the bi-weekly conferences here. You get 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. yoga. You do that regularly and create this kind of routine in your life. And you will see how much it helps you with your heart disease, your blood pressure, your diabetes, your cholesterol, and your weight management. You will also notice how much it helps you in your sleep, in your social interactions, and in your stress level. And you will notice a definite difference in your blood pressure checks, your blood sugar checks. And I want you to do that. And I also request all of you to make kind of a table of this. And let's see who makes the best table of all the practices that I said today, 8484, and mind management incorporated with it at different times and practices, and make that schedule. And I want you to all post it on the life as a homework. And make sure that you follow the rest of the things that I said. All right? So I end here. Thank you.